Hey guys, Ken's97 Stow 171 back again for a trucking video. Sorry guys, it's been a hell of a long time since I did one. Shit's been going on, and you know, that's how it goes. Wanted to put a shout out to my friend Chad. You guys get a chance, check out his blog at theratracelosers.blogspot.com. I'll talk a little bit about his whole, what's all going on with my friend on my drive here. And sorry guys, I gotta wait for the suspension to lift up there in the back. I'm using this camera down here too. Hey guys, I don't know whether I'll cut to it or not. You can see it down there. I'm not sure what the view is going to be. That's not a wide angle lens, but thought I might use it if I get a chance to edit, which a lot of times I don't have a chance to edit. AC on today. It's a little warm. I don't know what it is, but it's humid. It's been raining lightly. This is a really, once again, I'm headed up to Weil on the Plain. It's that place where I showed you guys how I back up. It's like a double backup. It's a real pain in the butt. I'm headed back there again. Look at this moron. Pull up far enough. I swear. How hard is it to park your freaking car? This trailer is really long. And this is the same trailer we've been using since November. I think I mentioned it in my video that every time I went up there first with this trailer in November, the load wouldn't fit. Went up a month later, same trailer, because I brought it back partially loaded, and they topped it back off. Went back up again a month later, wouldn't fit. That's happened every month since November. So this time there's only 32,000 in the trailer. And hopefully we'll be able to get it off. They fixed my wipers. I'll show you here in a second. I think in one of my previous videos, I think I mentioned how terrible the windshield squirters were, and now, hey look, water goes all over the whole windshield. What an amazing concept. They changed the squirter nozzles on it, and International we've had a few other problems with these, and it looks like International is finally realizing they've got some issues. Just a little bit more. Come on. Hurry up, car, so I don't have to be behind the bus. Not that I'm going to go any faster than the bus. I'm sorry, that camera's going to bounce around a little bit down there. There's nothing I can really do about it. See what the footage looks like. If it's too bouncy or looks like crap, I'll just toss it. Wow, it was an old BMW motorcycle. That's cool. I broke my China bike on Sunday. headed back from someplace and came off the stoplight and got into second gear and hit the throttle, and it just revved up, and I was like, what the hell? Tried it a couple different gears and nothing, pulled over. Actually, was pretty lucky. The sprocket failed. The chain came off. Well, first I saw that the chain was off, and I was like, well, shit, how the hell can the chain come off? You know, it was tight. I always check the chain to make sure it's not too loose. And the way it assembles there is that the sprocket goes into a rubber isolated thing, and then a circlip goes over the sprocket, and there's like a seam, I don't know, where the circlip goes onto the hub. Well, the hub failed, the circlip came off, and the sprocket came off. I knew it was a little bit wobbly. It'd been that way for quite a long time, but I'd looked at it, and there's not really any lateral stress on it. The chain pulls pretty much straight forward, so I really wasn't worried about it. I checked it every once in a while, and it never seemed to be getting worse. Well, I guess, I don't know, something happened, and it broke, so it's going to require a new rear wheel, unless I decide I want to jerry rig it somehow, which, I don't know. I'll look at it and see. But it's okay. I mean, my plan was to try to get the Yamaha that I'm buying off my friend BJ. Hey BJ, I'll send him a link to this video. The DT 175 that I'm buying off him, you know, it's going to probably need some new tires, and I'm sure a little bit of work. And I think I'm just going to save my money and put it towards that bike. Maybe save up a little bit more and maybe find a bigger dual sport at some point. I really like the dual sports. They really have a nice, comfortable ride. You know, looked at a Yamaha XT250 at a dealer, and surprisingly, I can put my leg over it and pretty much flat-foot it. And that's the problem with most of the bigger CC dual sports is, you know, I can hardly get my leg over the damn things. What's going on the bike scene. Let me get on to my friend Chad and his whole odyssey. Friend Chad is we've been friends since a little bit after high school, I guess, and so that'd be like since 91, 92, something like that. And he works in IT. Got the GoPro on the right here. Hold up traffic because it's like a disabled vehicle. The CBS Artemis van is there, and I need to be back in the right lane for this exit. He works in IT, has a good job, and he and I started discussing, you know, being a little more prepared for, you know, if something were to happen, knowing how to hunt, fish, you know, build a fire, and be prepared for short-term, mostly be prepared for short-term stuff, you know, have some food, food, water, basic necessities, some guns, ammunition, ready to go. And for him, it kind of progressed into a real desire to kind of get out of the rat race, which is where he came up with his name, the rat race loser. He wants to lose the rat race and, you know, get out of this busy, crazy world that we live in. And so I'm not going to say too much because I'd really rather you go to his blog and read through it. He's a very good writer, and he writes in a fairly humorous manner, so it's pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining to read his blog. So definitely check out. It's called The Rat Race Losers, and it's theratracelosers.blogspot.com, and I'll post a link. I'll try to post a link, but it's pretty easy to remember. The Rat Race Losers. I imagine if you Google that, you'll find it. And so he plans to move to Texas and, you know, be off the grid and get all that together. And he has that all written out in detail in his blog, explaining his idea and all that's happened since he started up with the idea. So definitely check that out. And if you he has ads on his. He has some YouTube. He has Get to the Rat Race Losers on YouTube as well. He's got some videos posted about his what he's doing. He's only got a few videos posted right now, and for whatever reason, we both signed up for ads on YouTube, and for whatever reason, his started right away, and mine still isn't working. So when you're on his page, if you see an ad that you like, click on it, please. It helps out, helps fund his project. Certainly don't just go madly clicking on ads. That's bad. That actually, they can actually shut you down for that. But if you see, you know, a product that you're interested in, or you think is interesting in whatever way, go ahead and click on the ad. It helps him out. Hopefully I can get the ads going on my page as well. You know, a little extra income doesn't hurt. And we looked over my YouTube page and his YouTube page, and we can't find anything different between the settings. So we don't know why my ads aren't, I don't have any ads showing, and he does. I've sent a message off to YouTube trying to get some help, but they're not exactly easy to contact, which is kind of surprising to me. You know, I mean, their whole goal is to have ads for people to see. I mean, it's an advertiser-based thing, and if I can't get ads on my page or something's not working right, it seems like they would want to help out YouTube users. I mean, of course, I don't have that many compared to, like, you know, Nothing Fancy or FPS Russia or Cutlery Lover. You know, I don't have that many subscribers yet. So maybe that's what they're looking at, but I don't know. So check him out. Yeah, what else is going on? Excuse me, I need a drink. Yes, this is water. Somebody will comment about the big fat guy drinking 44-ounce Coke. I keep the plastic cups because they last a while, and so do the lids. And I buy like 1 gallon jugs of water and just refill it. It's cheaper that way. Camera down there seems like it's staying in position. It's jiggling around quite a bit when I hit bumps, but Baptist Hospital up here. Looks like it got a couple of floors for the structure built. Should have cleaned my mirrors, guys. They're a little dirty. Oh well. If I finally get a HD camera, you guys will, I'll be having to clean every window, otherwise it'll look like crap. I really want to get one of those, guys. Now, come on, get into gear. There we go. Really want to get a HD Hero 2, do one of these. 1080p, it'll even do slow-mo. It's got a microphone input, so I can probably hook into it, run it around, and have a little better microphone. So you can hear the truck a little better, or hear my voice better. I wouldn't have to talk so loud. Alright, guy, come on, let's go. Going into its malfunction mode. I hope you can hear that. When you start to tip in the throttle, it makes this funny noise. I don't have a warning light yet, but it'll happen. I don't know what causes it. Oh yeah, it's an international piece of crap. Sorry guys, it's kind of annoying. Luckily, I'm only 32,000 pounds today, because otherwise I could be in some serious doo-doo here. The power comes off big time. And this guy's going to poke along at like 64.5 miles an hour. Sometimes I think when it's making this noise that it's wanting to do a regen while you're rolling down the road. I had one time when I first got this truck, it started doing that, and I was running up I-75 really heavy, and some guy came up next to me and pointed down it and said my muffler was pointing at my muffler, which is right over there, and I pulled over to take a look, and it was like really hot. So I think it might have been doing a regen. I've ever mentioned it, but this truck rides like crap, especially when it's light, especially the front axle. The back axle's not too bad, but the front axle is just wham! It's like, God almighty. You go to the fucking chiropractor. Like I said, it's not too bad when it's fully loaded. Right now, all the weights, I think they loaded this all in the back, because there's only 32,000 in the trailer, and the scale ticket they gave said there was 28,000 on the rear axle, so it's probably all in the back half, which means there's nothing on the drive wheels, and not much on the steers either, so that'll make it ride like total crap. It's got air ride in the back axle, thank God. Otherwise, I'd be getting it from all sides. When you're heavy on the trailer wheels with steel springs, when you go over a bump, it creates a front to rear jerking motion like that. When you hit the bump, you end up going like, going like this. And in a situation like this, if that was a steel sprung trailer, you've got weight on the back causing it to go like this. So you're hit the front axle hits the bump, and it goes like up and down, and then as soon as the trailer goes over it, goes like that. So it's like kind of like riding a bull. With these air ride trailers, you really don't feel much when they go over a bump. It's kind of nice. Although the bad thing about it is, you've got a trailer that's a little bit heavy in the back. You can kind of tell with the sprung trailer that something's not right. And when you got air ride in the back, you don't. It can be. I had that happen to me one time. I had like 35,700 pounds on the trailer wheels, and I had no idea. It was like 35,700 on the trailer, and there's like 30,000 on the drive wheels. It's like it was ridiculous. Somebody just didn't know how to load it right, or I don't know what happened. So what I'm doing now, when I go to Rochester, Indiana, they're asking for over 50,000. So I've had a couple of them at 52,000, 51,000 and change. And at that level of weight, inevitably you end up over the limit, over the axle limit on one of the axles, depending on how they loaded it. And I had 3 overweight tickets in like 2 months. Not tickets, but they gave me warnings. Fortunately, I found out those do not count on your CSA record. However, the company doesn't like them because it hurts them in some way. So what I'm doing now is instead of going 75 north to 74 west to Indianapolis, I go 75 south to 275 west to Lawrenceburg exit 50, and I take State Route 1 diagonal across back to 74, bypass the way station. It's legal. There's a warning sign. They prefer you not take that route, but it is legal to do so. It's hilly and curvy, and the speed limit is 45, and that's fine. I just go 45 and take my time, and you know, I'm not over gross weight, but with this powder that's in this trailer, it's pretty much impossible to get it properly balanced. I mean, there's no way to move it around, and all I got to do is hit the brakes hard one time. Come on, dude. The lane ends. Your dumbass should know that. Yeah, that lane ends. Now I'm stuck going fucking 40 miles an hour because he's a fucking moron. He's got like one I-beam on that trailer. It can't be that freaking heavy. So yeah, I'm just going around the loop now. Yeah, it's about 15 minutes onto my, you know, drive time, but it's better than having to stop and spend 30 or 40 minutes at the weigh station while they, you know, give you a pharmacological examination for being 500 pounds overweight. I can't complain too much. They actually give us a pretty good margin. The legal limit is 34,000 on an axle. And the weigh station, that weigh station gives us 35,000 on an axle. If it's over 35,000, even if it's just 35,050, 35,100, the guy does not have a choice but to pull me in and give me a warning. So, I mean, I'm glad there were only warnings, but it takes up a lot of time, and you know, I'm not really overweight. Yeah, the axles are off a little bit, but generally by the time I get halfway between here and Indianapolis, you know, it'll settle out a little bit better, and then the power will move around. So it's not like I'm really hurting the roads at all. if this guy slams, if somebody slams on their brakes in front of me, powder all moves to the front anyway, and then I'm overweight on on one wheel or the other. So you just can't. It's just not really an easy way to get this stuff leveled out. Now, liquid would automatically, resettle, but the powder doesn't. Sometimes it flows like water. I mean, it'll flow real easily. And other times, especially if they loaded it and then it sat overnight, and especially in the wintertime, moisture gets in there and it kind of settles up like concrete a little bit, and then it doesn't move really at all. So. What else is happening? Oh, it's gonna hurt. Ow. Alright, little car, let's go. She's going the speed limit, but just barely. Actually, the speed limit's 70, I think, and she's doing 65. I got lunch before I got in the truck. Running a little behind today. It's no particular delivery time, but the alarm went off and I was like, screw this. I went back to sleep for a couple hours. It doesn't really matter when I get there. Look at this jackass. It doesn't really matter when I get there. In fact, it's a little easier if I get there a little bit late. I should get up there about 5:15, and because all the people have gone home from Wild McLean, and all the people that have left, and I don't have to worry about forklifts running around behind me or anything. It'll still be daylight, so I'll be able to see what's going on. At the motorcycle dealer the other day looking around, saw that XT250 for the first time. It's about $5 grand, brand new. Really comfortable. I'd never even seen one before. Thing's apparently been around forever, and for whatever reason I'd never seen it. I really wish somebody made a 400 that was 400cc bike that was a little smaller, Guys, I'm coming up on the weigh station, and what I'm going to do is just take my hat off and put it on the seat over there. Just keep on going since I got this camera going. easy. Put the ball cap back on and ready to go. Oh my God. They bypassed me. So, what was I saying? Motorcycles. Yeah, I never even seen that XT250 before. Don't know why I'd ever missed it. Never heard of it, saw it, whatever. They had a couple of them sitting there, sat on it. It's comfortable. It's air cooled, so it's obviously an older design. It's probably good. So that might be something to think about in the future, or find one used. I really like the little 175 two-stroke that BJ's selling me, but I wouldn't mind having something with a little bit more touring capability if I wanted to take it on a really long trip. So I just keep my eyes peeled, and if you know, 400, you know, an older 450 or 600 or something, you know, shows up. But I'll have to see how his little DT175 handles. I saw a video on YouTube where one guy was going, I thought it was 75 or 80 miles an hour on it, and if it'll do that, then that would be fine. I probably need to gear it up a little bit because it's pretty snappy. First and second gear, it'll you know, lift the front wheel off just a little bit. Even with my fat ass on it. So I'm thinking I could probably gear it up a little bit. I don't want to take it too far though, because two strokes, yeah, they don't have a whole lot of torque down low. So I wouldn't want to take it too far. But I mean, by the numbers of it, it's making about the same amount of power as my 200 four-stroke. Oh, God almighty. So, and the bike's a lot lighter. So, it should be able to do better, I would think. It's just a cool bike. Never really owned a two-stroke before. I've just always really liked them. I can turn the oil injection up a little bit and get next to a Prius and, you know, ding 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 ding, get some smoke them out, piss them off. No, I wouldn't do that. But it's funny to think about though. Actually, you can get organic two-stroke oil now. I use it in my generator, mostly because it just doesn't smell better. And with the generator, you know, sitting in the campsite or whatever, it's nice. It's nice having it not smell as much. I went on a motorcycle ride with a group of scooter people. The guy had a early '60s Vespa, I think. It was a 250 two-stroke, and pulled up next to him, and I said, "Hey, man, Al Gore's upset. You're polluting the air." And he said, "Actually, I'm not." He's like, "Do you see any smoke from it?" And I was like, "Actually, no." And he's like, "Yeah, there's no smoke." And he said, that's what he told me about this organic two-stroke oil, and he's using that. And in fact, the one he got, it's scented as strawberries. So when you're riding behind him, you get this like faint scent of strawberry, which kind of fits, I guess. I don't know. Well, I guess you know, some people really. I like the smell of two-stroke, but some people don't. And a lot of people put way too much oil into it. You really shouldn't have that much smoke. And this DT175 smokes when it's cold a little bit, but once it's warmed up, it really doesn't smoke. And that's how it should be. I know a lot of people put a little extra oil, especially if they're running premix. But this bike's it's oil injected. A lot of guys run, especially especially if they're doing motocross or something where they're really hammering on the bike, they'll throw some premix in the tank also, which over oils it, but you know. Probably keeps it safe too. You can always decarb them. In our apartment complex, Ashley was their name, cute thing. She had this awesome looking little, I don't remember what brand it was. It might have been a Yamaha too, I don't remember. Anyway, it was no, it wasn't a Yamaha. Anyway, it was a 202-stroke, two-cylinder engine. And she was really short, so it was kind of nice for her because a lot of the older bikes are lower seat height, and it was painted this kind of fuchsia purple color, which was the factory color. And she asked me if I wanted to buy the bike from her, and it was in good shape physically. It's running a little funny, and the color of it kind of, you know, and I wouldn't want to respray it because it was like a vintage bike. All the chrome was on and everything, and you know, that's the color it was made. And I wouldn't want to respray it just because it had a kind of a girly color. And I suspect when the bike was new, it was probably a little deeper fuchsia purple color. You know, but I mean, the thing's 30-something years old, and I think that it had faded to a more of a pinkish color. It didn't look bad, especially for a girl. It was perfect for her. And now that bike would haul ass. It was pretty quick, and it was. But she had all kinds of little problems with it. The petcock was leaking, and she couldn't find one for it. We ended up just repairing it, fabricating up some. The rubber gasket in it, when you rotate the thing around, there's a rubber gasket with holes in the appropriate location, and when you rotate it, it would open up the hole or close the hole, and the gasket was wore out and was leaking fuel between in the switch. So we rebuilt it for her, and it seemed to work okay. And she had problems with the carburetors and some other things, and I had another bike. I sold my CX500, by the way. I knew I was forgetting to tell you something. Sold the CX500 to a guy up in Cincinnati. His name's Bob. And came down, looked at it, liked it. Asked me if he could come back. I really liked the bike, and we agreed on $750, which was $50 under my asking price, that's fine. And I was all real happy that, you know, I was getting it sold, and he's like, well, could I come back down sometime during the week and maybe practice riding it around a little bit? And I was like, okay, do you have any experience? I mean, are you a new rider? And he's like, well, I've been riding a 50cc scooter around Clifton, which is the University of Cincinnati's campus. It's in the Clifton area. And so I was like, so you've never ridden a shifting motorcycle before? He's like, no, not really. But I've read a lot of books, and I kind of understand the principle. And I'm thinking, oh, great. I'm selling a 500-pound motorcycle to a totally new rider. He's a big boy, though. He was taller than me, a little bigger than heavier than me. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's probably about the same as me, maybe a little skinnier in some ways. But he was a lot taller, longer-legged. He sat on the bike, and you know, for him it was a lot easier to ride because it was, you know, he was bent kneed on it, and for me it was always a little hard to maneuver the bike at slow speed. you know, and for him it was no problem at all. So I was like, well, you know, okay. Well, they drove like 30 minutes down to come see the thing, and so he showed up a couple days later, and I tell you, it was amazing. He hopped on it. I showed him the basics. He hopped on it, took off, and in like 5 minutes, he was shifting smoother and better than I think I was like 6 months after I started riding. It's just, you know, some people get it. They're just naturals on a motorcycle, and I mean, he was awesome. Never forgot to put it in neutral when he came to a stop. He got it into third gear around the parking lot. Was shifting smoothly, downshifting smoothly, and he was just a natural on it. So at that point, I was like, you know, that's great. You did really, really, really good. Don't worry about it. And I've been keeping in contact with him. I asked him how it was going, and he said he took a road trip this past weekend, rode from Cincinnati to Athens, Ohio, to Columbus, Ohio, and then took I-71 south all the way back to Cincinnati, and said the bike did great. Everything's fantastic. He loves it. So he's happy, I'm happy, and it's a good first bike for somebody his size. It's going to make enough power that he may never need to upgrade to anything else, but if he does, you know, with his weight and size, 50 horsepower on that bike is not too much to start with. And being as big as he was, you know, I tell a lot of people to try to start off on like a 250 Ninja or something like that, but physically he would not have fit on a bike that small. So worked out good for him, worked out good for me, and as soon as I get my bike running again, hopefully we can go do some riding. He's got a group of friends that he rides with now, and you know, it'd be cool to have some riding buddies. Of course, right now, all I have right now is my wife's 150cc scooter. But I mean, I guess two wheels is better than four. I just need to get my ass moving and get the paperwork done on that Yamaha 2-stroke and get her on the road. I've never had it over like 40 miles an hour because I run out of room at the apartment complex. There's only one long straightaway where there's no, I don't go that fast through the parking lot where there's people. There's the entry road is long enough to get going a little bit, but you know. Looking forward to riding it. And the DT 175 is real comfortable. It's got just an old-fashioned banana seat. It's real comfortable to sit on, real comfortable to ride. So I think it's a bike I can probably ride on the back roads, you know, all day. It's got 670 miles on it. 1977 Yamaha with 670 miles on it. Unreal. It's got the original tires still on, so they'll need to be replaced. They're really not dry rotted that bad, but are you really going to trust your life to 34-year-old tires? You know, not smart. So I'll get those changed. I'll keep the old ones as a spare tire, or just for you know, just to have them because they're kind of antiques. You know, they're in perfect condition. Tread's great. Just a little bit of cracking around the sidewall, but you know, 34-year-old tire technology is not really what you want to be putting trusting your life to. You know, you hit a pothole or something, and then the sidewall gives out and it pops the tube in it or whatever. It's not really what you want to have happen. So I work out a couple of little electrical gremlins. The turn signals don't work. When you flip the turn signal, the light comes on, but it doesn't blink. So other than that, be good to go. Watching my clock here because the camera down here only records for an hour. backup video. You guys have seen that a few times, but rough part of the road. God. They just put all new blacktop on a large segment of 74 here. Somehow they missed that. Ridiculous. Ran into an old friend of ours, my friend Chad and I. We used to hang out with a guy named Greg, and lost track of with him for a while, and got back in touch with him, and kind of cool. He's kind of into the same stuff we are, camping and survival stuff, and he likes to fix things up. He'll buy a boat and fix it up and then sell it. And so he likes tinkering with stuff, fixing stuff up. And he was telling me that I'd mentioned I'd wanted to build a canoe, like a powered canoe or a powered kayak, using a weed whacker motor or something. And he's like, I have one of those. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, dude. He's like, you can use a weed whacker motor if you want. He's like, but the better way to go is electric. And I was like, really? I was like, I had thought of that too, but my intention is I want to go down the tributaries and maybe hit the bank of the Ohio and run down the Ohio River. I don't want to go out in the middle of the river, but hang to the edges and stay out of the way of the barge traffic. And he's like, yeah, electric. He's like, I didn't think it would work either, but he's like, you get yourself a trolling motor, like a 40-pound thrust thrust trolling motor. He said if you can get one more than that, that's better, but that'll work. And you get yourself a big deep cycle battery, or maybe two. He runs on one, and he said the nice thing with the trolling motor is you can just set it. He's got a canoe, not a kayak, and that's what he recommended. He said just you mount it to the side of the canoe, like behind you a little bit, like where the canoe kind of curves back to a point, and then you run the tiller. So the tiller's like right here, and you can control it. He's got a chair he can lounge back in and whatever. And he said he can run like 3 days, like running around all day fishing or whatnot, come back to the dock next day, and then the next day. He can do 3 days of full activity on one battery. And I was like, damn, I didn't figure the range, they would have that kind of range. But I guess because it's a canoe, it's not pushing that much weight. So that helps. It doesn't draw as much power. It's not as much load on the motor, I guess. Probably especially once you're up to speed. He said it's enough. He can get it. His canoe will have a wake. So I was like, well, that's fast enough. And so I've been looking around for that instead. I mean, I kind of like the idea of the gas engine because I figured it would be able to give me more range. I could put like a 2 or 5 gallon tank in there, and a weed whacker motor would run on forever, on that much fuel. But there's a couple negatives with the weed whacker motor. First of all, it makes noise, and I kind of like the idea of the electric motor being quiet. I mean, the idea is to be kind of out in nature and running down the river, and and if you're in a survival situation, not making yourself a target. So he said definitely go electric. And if you want to spend a little extra money, they make a system that takes the unused power and runs it back to the battery. It's a couple $100 for this system, but I guess the way trolling motors work is it uses a ballast resistor. So when you're on full throttle, all of the power is going to the motor. When you go to half throttle, or whatever, there's like 5 settings. When you reduce the throttle, the extra power goes to just resistors that create heat. It's not like a digital speed controller where it's efficient. So it doesn't matter what throttle position you're at. You're using the same amount of current, regardless of throttle position. And they make a system that rather than going through ballast resistors, it stores it in a capacitor, and then it gets bled back to the battery. And he said, if you get one of those, man, your battery life will be a lot longer because you're not running at full throttle the whole time. A lot of times you're kind of trolling along kind of slow. So he said definitely do that if you want to, but start off, or you can just buy another battery, get two, especially if you have a good sized canoe, just get two, deep cycle batteries. And I've got one that I can use, I think, already. It's not technically a deep cycle, but it's a big ass battery. And what he said to do is just hook up the battery, put the trolling motor in a 5-gallon bucket, put it on full throttle, and see how long the thing runs. And that'll give you an idea of how long you'll have. Well, guys, it's coming up on an hour. I'm gonna stop here, and so I'm looking. I want to get a canoe with a trolling motor on it now and go do some exploring down on the river. Go check out that ghost ship. I mentioned that one time to you guys. It's parked on a creek almost directly across from Hollywood Casino. It used to be Argosy Casino. It's a 90-foot vessel shoved up a creek tributary. It's basically a little creek. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop. Y'all have a good afternoon. I'll probably see you here in a while. When I get up to Michigan City, I'll either start it when I'm getting into the plant, doing the backup, or maybe I'll do the ride again. I don't know. We'll see. Y'all take care. See ya.